Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Boom, and welcome to the Big Honker Podcast. It is July. I am Jeff Stanfield with the world-famous Andy Shaver. How are you doing today, Andy?
I butchered that.
What'd you fuck up?
The intro, well, it was just a little off. I like it crisp, Jeff.
Well, I didn't fuck up my end this time.
Crisp.
So it's just
is
for the
how
record.
I like it. And then it was a little sloppy there.
And
I feel good. Like when I nail it, I'm just like, yeah.
Are you? You feel good now?
No, I don't, because I didn't hit it. I'll have to wait till next week to redeem myself.
This podcast is also brought to you by our friends at Gun Dog Outdoors.
Perfect. Matt Peel.
Huh?
Matt Peel. Oh, Gun Dog. What the fuck am I saying?
You are fucked this whole thing up now.
I did.
Alex. Yeah.
Alex
Lingbell.
got
Are you having a bad day today? You lost your fucking keys.
I'm frazzled. Introduce our guest. So we can
hold on. The problem is, last night I talked to your wife at 10:45 on the phone, and you had 3 of your nieces stay with you last night.
I did.
God bless you is all I got to say.
My house is
Woof.
That's how I lost the keys before I came out here.
Yeah. On the line with us today and on YouTube and Skype, Mr. Wade Skeen. Wade, how are you doing, sir?
Great, Jeff. How are y'all, man? Other than being all over the place.
All over the place. Like, I can't believe. Most of the time, I'm the professional one. And,
oh, fucking whatever.
And, like, Jeff's the one that's kind of everywhere. But today, the roles have reversed. I think I made this sangria too potent.
Well, you drinking a fruity drink. What do we
I
expect?
fucking like sangria.
So, Wade, what's going on in a big place in Kansas nowadays? Just rain, wet?
Yep, building the ark, getting ready to float down y'all's way on the Red River, down the Ark River, and it's crazy. It's rained every day for 2 weeks.
Are you worried about the hatch numbers in North Dakota? I personally don't think it's going to affect y'all much in Kansas. I think the birds in Missouri and Arkansas and Iowa are going to get affected more by the North Dakota, South Dakota drought than y'all will in Kansas. I think it's going to help y'all out.
I think the numbers might hurt us, but what might help us is the lack of crops up there, because we might see some earlier flyover if they can't hang out and, eat grain in North Dakota, South Dakota like they normally do. Those birds coming out of northern Canada, when they come down, may move down a little bit faster.
That's what I think is going to happen. I think you're going to get a lot of birds, and they're going to stay there unless we have some winter. I hope we have some winter, but I think Kansas is going to be the benefactor of North Dakota and South Dakota struggling more, and just because I think the hatch birds are going to go east, but I think the birds that come to you are not going to stage up in North Dakota and South Dakota if they don't get some rain. And southern Saskatchewan, I guess all the way around Quill Lake and stuff, it's real dry too.
Yeah, that whole area is super dry right now. But what do the ducks do in that situation? Do you think they don't just disappear? They keep flying somewhere until they find water, whether it's up to the boreal forest or go west, or they're going to go somewhere.
They're an adaptive animal.
Yeah.
And they are the most adaptive of all waterfowl, or all animals, I think. I don't think the numbers are going to change much. Even the hatch, they say, well, the hatch is off. Them ducks are fucking somewhere and breeding somewhere. They're still having babies somewhere.
This is the second year of no actual full-scale count, too, so do we really know what's going on? We don't have all the planes up in the air counting ponds and everything else that we have normally, so it's kind of a guessing game.
Have you seen all the online bickering right now in Minnesota? Because I guess Minnesota's going to get an early teal season this year.
Why are they bitching?
No, what are they fighting?
People are mad because they're shooting these teal. The first argument I saw was the guy says, it's too early to be shooting ducks. You can't sex them anyways. It's a fucking teal.
Right.
I've never heard of anybody just shooting Drake teal anyways.
Right.
Then another guy was bitching and complaining and says, well, we raise the ducks here, and they need a good place to rest without getting any pressure before they fly south. Teal numbers, especially blue-winged teal, are not affected by hunters' numbers at all. They die more from everything else they do. More blue-winged teal die flying across the Gulf of Mexico getting ate by a fucking shark or somewhere, landing in the ocean probably, than they do get shot anyways.
Well, and the little bastards fly too fast to tell what sex they are when you're shooting anyway. That's good.
That's exactly right.
What? No, we looked at widgeon the other day.
Yeah, widgeon.
Lifespan.
A lifespan of a widgeon is 2 years.
Right.
Because I said that's why they decoy so good, because they never get affected by they die before they get smart. kind of like a mourning dove does, because the mourning dove works so good to the spinners. You cut out what now?
I just can't believe that widgeon's lifespan is that short. I figured it would. I mean, I wouldn't expect it to be a mallard or a can or something like that, but I figured it'd be longer than 2 years.
2.1 for females and then like 1.8 for a male. So this right here says you're wrong, Jeff. Blue-winged teal lives to be about 12 years old.
A blue-winged teal does?
Average blue-winged teal have an average maximum lifespan of about 12 years old.
No, I said more blue-winged teal die crossing the Gulf of Mexico going to Bolivia than they do get shot by hunters. Because like here, we will be covered up. The whole state of Texas is with teal during teal season, blue-winged teal. Once teal season ends and the first cold front comes, we don't see a blue-winged teal hardly again.
Right.
You know, they might shoot some on the coast, but most of those birds are going to Mexico or South America, and they don't get hunted.
And they're there by October 15th.
Yes. So that's an interesting deal. But
I just don't know why they're bitching. Like, you're getting an extra couple of weeks of hunting. Like, enjoy it and go out there and
people
have a
bitch
good time.
about something all the time.
You could give a guy $1 million and he'd be pissed if you can give him 2.
I'll take a $500,000 and be happy.
It'd be you both.
That. So how was your first year in business? Last time we talked to you, you were getting ready to – you just left the military, which congratulations on the beard. Like, the world was cheated out of a good beard for way too long. So I'm glad to see it. It's coming in. You're looking good with rocking the beard and the longer hair. So how was your first year in business?
So freaking awesome. I loved it as much as I thought I would. It was also the toughest year of waterfowl hunting I've ever seen in my entire life from a weather and migration aspect. I mean, it was terrible. We didn't get our peak mallard numbers were around February 10th.
Yep. That makes it tough. So, you know, it's always interesting to talk to guys that have, you know, done it on their own for so long and then opened a business like you have. Did it kind of taint your relationship with waterfowl hunting at all, or did it you're still gung ho?
So I'd kind of done it part-time for a few years anyway. So I kind of, you know, dipped my toes in the water without being all in to get a taste to see if it was going to be something that I enjoyed or if it was going to be something that kind of ruined it for me. And I mean, honestly, it took something I like or I love and upped the ante. I mean, it just added one more cool factor to it. Like, it's like being in the bottom of the ninth with bases loaded and 2 strikes, and you've got to get that hit to get the runners in. I mean, now there's people's money, good times, whatever you want to call it, on the line. So just up the pressure, but it didn't make it any less fun.
No, when you get paid to hunt like we do and make a living doing it, we're cheating life. We are, and we take it for granted a lot. Like, I think my life's just a normal life. Well, I don't have a normal life. I'm so blessed that I've taken it for granted for so long. But when you get to do something you love to do, you know, there is nobody out there that loves to mow a fucking yard. They may have the biggest lawnscaping business in the world, but they don't love what they fucking do. You know, we are in the hunting business. We love what we do. And it's hard to, I guess a porn star would be about it.
Fuck no. Have you seen any of that shit about porn stars?
No,
it is not good.
Not gay porn, Andy.
No. Any porn. Look at any porn stars. Look at an
I'm sure it's
interview
a
with
fucked
them.
up life. I know they are.
It is terrible.
They
are
have a fucked up life.
not happy with life.
I was thinking of myself as 18 years old. At 18, that would have been a fun job for a while.
I don't.
Well, we just ran this train.
Quickly.
We went from teal hunting to how great it was to be in the waterfowl business to being an 18-year-old porn star.
How bad it is to be a porn star.
That's why our podcast grows. We got a bunch of derelicts that listen to us.
Well, I'm sure there's plenty of derelicts that aren't even duck hunters. Probably.
I think there are. So, what was the hardest part this year? Was it dealing with asshole customers, or was it dealing with just when it just wasn't going to be a good day and you knew it and you had to go out and do it?
I never had an issue with clients, man. It's never the clients. The toughest thing I deal with is landowners and keeping them happy.
Well, that can be tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's it. Clients are happy as shit. They're on vacation doing what they love to do. Like we're gonna have a good time in the blind. We're gonna cut up, and I mean November was tough. First part of December was tough. Had guys, like had them come back out later in the year because it was so bad early on. But we still had a damn good time. Like, plenty of guys that didn't have great, success on killing birds rebooked with us this year because we worked our ass off. We did everything we could. It just, the weather was 65 and sunny in December.
I noticed this year with customers that if they didn't have great hunts, it wasn't as important as just being outside, not cooped up wearing a fucking mask at home.
With their favorite people.
That part was great last year. I didn't have anybody pissing and moaning. Like usually you have that group that shoots 3 birds short of a limit, and the guy's pissing and moaning because they didn't shoot a full limit. None of that. We don't deal with a lot of my landowners isn't a problem. We don't have a lot of that drama. I feel for you guys that are dealing with 10 different outfitters because I know it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, and I don't have bad. I had one bad run-in with a landowner last year. It turned out he was drunk. But other than that, it wasn't bad. It's just that's the toughest part of the job is talking back and forth with them because everything I do is on day leases for the most part. So if I'm going to go hunt on Mr. Smith's place, I got to call Mr. Smith that afternoon or shoot him a text or something like that. So, I mean, just juggling that was the only thing that gave me any stress. I mean, other than that, it was.
Do you scout the morning before?
So usually I'll scout the evening before so last year it was just myself and one other guy that were running it full time. So like I was on the hunts. I was on every single hunt we ran, but after, 9 o'clock, sometimes when the geese started getting up to go out to feed, I would leave them in the spot. I'd go jump in the truck and go make the rounds and scout sometimes, but most of the time I would just scout.
That makes it tough. That's my hat's off to you, man. Like running a hunt and scouting and, doing the business side of things. That's tough. I mean, it'll run you ragged. There's a lot of guys that do it that way, and I'm telling you what, like my hat's off to you because out here, like Jeff handles the business side, he scouts. So like for us guides, like all we got to do is worry about the hunt, and that makes it so much easier. So whenever I hear of guys like you that have to do everything, like utmost respect to you.
Don't let Andy kid yourself though. He's on the phone texting me every morning by 9 o'clock. What do we got for tomorrow or 8:30? And Blake does the same thing. Josh does the same thing. Y'all don't worry about it, but y'all are always messaging me about what we're doing the next day while we're starting the morning hunt the morning of.
Well, yeah, I've got to worry about the hunt.
Well, that's your best spot.
Yeah.
Not just the politicking they do to me because they all politic me, but I have literally my middle son Zach. I have had him text me before the sun comes up. What do you think we're going to do tomorrow? Fuck you. You still have headlights in the spread. I usually have a pretty good idea what we're going to do the next day. We all do because we do the same things a lot. But I have literally had people ask me while it's still dark the morning of the first hunt, asking me what we're doing tomorrow.
Jeff, I get a lot of questions during the morning. Some guys want to know what we're doing the next day. Like, I don't know what you want me to tell you.
How far do y'all drive, Wade, between hunts?
About an hour, 50, 60 miles is our max. But I would say average, we're more like 20.
Oh, that's not bad, Dan.
Where do you do most of your hunting at?
No, hell no.
Where do you do most of your hunts at?
So from Wichita south down to the Oklahoma border. So about a 6-mile range there, all on the east side of Interstate 35.
Do you hunt around Sedan?
No, that's like an hour and 45 minutes, 2 hours southeast of me. I've actually got some family down there with a ranch and stuff. I should probably go down there, check it out, but it's just so far from the lodge. I'm not hauling custom clients.
Yeah. But yeah, 25, 30 minutes, that's about what it is for us. I mean, that's nothing.
Yeah, I'm spoiled, dude. I don't
yeah. So that's what's going to be. So you've hired guides for this year, right? More guides, 4 of them. Ooh.
Yeah.
That's when it gets fun because then you've got personalities to juggle, and you'll be getting those text messages like, "Hey, What do you think about tomorrow, bud?
Are you still going to hunt yourself, or are you just going to let them hunt?
No, hell no. I'm going to hunt. If it gets to the point that I can't go hunt too, screw this. I'm hanging it up. That's
If you're
what
running, are you going to be running 4 groups a day next year?
No, 2
Okay.
groups. So 2 nights for each group, and then I'll float in between the scout and fill in, talk to landowners, butter up stuff with clients, whatever.
You see that beard you got, and you got a little bit of gray in it? Yeah. That's going to change when you get, because you're going to end up running 3 groups one day, because something's going to happen, and you're going to start seeing that's the Jeff Stanfield every day, 3 to 5, 6 groups a day, and you go full wide in your facial hair pretty quick, and you don't get a hunt anymore at all anyways when you get that big. You can't. You're too busy.
Man, I don't have any desire to get to that point, to be honest with you. I mean, making money's cool and all, but I don't ever want to run this to the point to where it's not fun.
And that's respectable too. Jeff here screwed it up for himself. He made it a business, and then he didn't get to. But
I've had as good a fun life as anybody I know. I don't know anybody that's had a funner life than me.
And in Jeff's defense, he's a bit of a fair weather hunter. He loves teal hunting when it's 50 degrees. He ain't fucking about that life going out there when it's 30 degrees and spitting snow.
No.
He ain't fucking about that life. So,
Them afternoon duck hunts when it's 50 degrees and sunny, he ain't got no
I don't get a chance, though, because I got a scout.
Oh, don't give me that.
If I went hunting all day one day, what the fuck would happen around this lodge?
But what I'm saying is Wade he's more like me. He enjoys being out there in the elements. You're not about that.
No.
So when the office job just appeared, you were good with it.
Yeah, I didn't have a problem stepping into the office stuff. I'm not gonna lie. I don't like getting up at 3:30 in the morning. That's my biggest problem. I don't want to get up at 3:30 in the morning. And to do what Tony does, he starts at 3:30 in the morning. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I'd rather be here till 10 o'clock at night.
What's Tony doing at 4 o'clock in
Breakfast.
the morning? Getting the
Breakfast.
We got 30 to 50 people feeding breakfast every morning.
Yeah.
Now, I've never understood this problem we have. During dove season, it requires me, Andy, and Tony to be out here to do breakfast. But during waterfowl season, when there's 50 people here, it doesn't require me to be here then. So I've never understood that.
Because during dove season, we take people out.
I can be here at 6 when we take them out, but I got to be here at 3:30, and I don't understand that.
He's just bitching. That's all that this is. Do you do dove hunts also?
No, we don't. We're too inconsistent. It's like teal. Some years, we'll be chock full of doves, and some years it's so hit or miss. It's no point taking somebody.
Right.
Do y'all have sandhill cranes on the eastern side of Kansas now?
Very few. You can hunt them, so you have to get on the west side of the interstate to hunt them. And I think I've seen or heard 2, 3 groups of them in 9 years on the east side of the interstate.
That's crazy. So they're all on the west side.
Yeah. They make that line from like Shine Bottom, Copera, more than Shine Bottom, which is west of us 40 or 50 miles probably, and north. But they make that line down to like the salt flats or salt plains down in northern Oklahoma. They stay west.
That's crazy. I wonder if they're going to start creeping more and more east because I don't know, it seems like they're getting more and more widespread everywhere.
Well, the geography in Kansas, though, when you get to 35, you get to that, is it Flint, what's that called, Flint Hills grass area? There's not a lot of grain through there, is there?
There is, because as they say it here, the Arkansas River bottom flows, in between or just on the east side of I-35 all down that way. So that whole river bottom is corn, beans, milo. There's a lot of grain still. Now, if you keep going east another 20 miles or so, that's where you hit the Flint Hills, which is all mostly cattle pastures, but still the creek bottoms there will still have corn and grain in them. So it still holds herds.
The reason why I was asking is because, like the cranes like crappy, salty water.
Yeah.
And they don't like running water, really. Well, when you get into eastern Kansas, you're getting into rivers that are running. And that's not conducive because I don't think Missouri has any kind of crane hunting.
I don't think so.
that I know of.
I've never even shot one. I've never even been on a crane. I've seen one.
Have you been paying attention at all to the stuff that's going on in the military, the critical race theory that they're pumping down these guys' throats? Have you seen any of that?
Yeah, a little bit. I just saw kind of the snippets of the one general firing back at one of the senators or congressmen. Man, I'll be real honest with you. After keeping up with that shit for so long, like I don't even pay attention.
Did you your final years there? Did you notice it like going kind of this woke way, or was it still kind of the way it was whenever you signed up to it?
Yeah. No. I mean, you think I came in '99, and we still had like don't ask, don't tell in place, so you could be a homosexual in the military, but you really couldn't talk about it. So that went away during the Obama years. So we kind of saw the military going from more right to more center to left a little bit. I mean, the cool thing about the military is a lot of that stuff is, you can't say it doesn't exist, but it's not systemic. So, like, I mean, in the military, nobody gives a shit what color you are or who you like to sleep with or anything else. You're a piece of shit or you're worth of shit. You're a stud or a dud, and that's how you're treated.
And that's how you should be treated, I think. I mean, and now I've seen like they're lowering the PT test for, I think it's the Air Force, which, they don't have much of a PT test anyway.
Oh, here we go. Andy's going to done step off in this shit now.
No, but like they're taking, I think you don't have to do push-ups, as many push-ups if you don't want to. You can do plank instead of sit-ups, walk instead of run. So I don't know. It's just like, motherfucker. The American military was made up of hairy-chested, burly men, that would get shit done when they had to, and it's just like everything else. They're just, I don't know.
They're ran by politicians, so it's fucked up.
But I mean, fuck.
Exactly. You go all the way back to Vietnam era, where the more we got communications were easier, the more politics started getting involved in it and stuff like that. And it's just kind of going in that direction.
Yes, it has.
Dude, it doesn't make a shit who's in office. There's always going to be a group of hairy-chested, badass dudes out there that do their own thing that are going to take it.
Now, why did y'all have to shave your beard? Like, listen, if I see a guy like you running at me and we're in combat, it's like, motherfucker.
The Special Forces guys don't have to.
Well, I know that, but like everybody should just have like these big beards and they should have tattoos all over and they should be these scary looking people and then nobody would want to jack with us. Why do we have to shave our beard, Wade?
Because chemical masks, gas masks, they say don't fit correctly with a beard, which I still think is bullshit, but I think it's just
it's a control deal. It's all about control.
Yeah, somewhat. Yeah. I mean, just like shaving your head when you're in basic training and stuff like that. Like, it takes away your individuality and puts you on the team. So
if they were,
I wish they could your shit.
If they were worried about gas mask, those Special Forces guys wouldn't all have beards.
That's exactly what I always said too.
Because the guys that you're counting on the most at the most critical times, you don't want them fucking getting zoned out by gas. So that's just a control thing, I think.
Yeah.
I always said the same thing.
Do you miss the military at all?
No, not even a little bit. I mean, I miss the shit out of my buddies, and that's why I was so happy to be able to hire more guides to come on, because I'm not I've never been a dude that wants to do everything on my own. I work better in a team environment. That kind of drives me to do more and stuff like that. So having kind of that environment here now, I like it a lot better. But as far as being in the military, no,
not one bit. And that's good too. I mean, and it's good for you that you found like a passion project, because I mean, how old are you?
Mm-hmm. I turned 40 last month.
What were you gonna do with the rest of your days if you didn't have hunting?
I'd have done it anyway. I'd have just gone and worked at some factory or some shit instead. But I'd hunted every second I was off until my wife had to force me.
But there's so many guys that get out of a military career and like they don't have anything to do. They don't have a purpose anymore. So
Yeah, and I know you're a jujitsu dude, so you probably listen to a lot of Jocko and stuff like that. But he talks about that all the time. Like you get out of the military, where you know, especially for somebody like me that's been in 22 years since I was 17 years old, and that's, you know, always been the thing. Like if you don't have that purpose, you don't have that mission anymore. Of course, you lose your identity, your self worth, and things go downhill real fast for you. Luckily, I mean, I never had that issue. I got my family. My Ducks Unlimited stuff. I've got hunting. You know, I've got all these things in the community and outside of the military that I've anchored onto a long time ago. So it never was an issue for me, but I definitely, you know, definitely see where guys that was their life. That was all they did for all those years.
well, and you know, just having a routine. Like I can just during hunting season, like it's I'm up at what time do I get up? I get up at 3:15. And then I'm out here by about 4, and I've latched onto the trailer, and breakfast is at 4:15, and we leave at 5, and dinner's at noon, or lunch is at noon, dinner's at 6. I'm in bed by about 8:30. And then when February rolls around, and I don't have that structure anymore. It's just like, oh, shit. So
yeah. But I'm the same way. I have to have that structure because like the last couple of weeks, it's been raining, it's been hot, you know. Some days I'd get up at 6, some days I'd get up at 5, some days I'd get up at 7, and it's just been dropping.
Yeah, it just so having that routine is important for a lot of guys, especially guys, because you know, I mean, in the military, it's routine. Everything's the same way, and but it's just so many guys I think get lost during, you know, whenever they just can do whatever they want. And for you, I think it's been great that you've just flawlessly, seamlessly started your own outfit, and you know now you're off and running with this cool new venture. So I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I was lucky to have something that I cared so much about outside of the military.
Do you work with other outfitters pretty well, or do your competition? Do y'all get along, or is there a lot of drama there?
Very, very little. There's only one outfitter in the state of Kansas that I know that I've ever dealt with that I ever had issues with. Everybody else I get along with, talk to. I've had other big outfitters here refer clients to me last year when their books were full. The couple of outfitters that I share the same ground with, like it's not uncommon for us to text each other, talk about, you know, where we're going to be, if this is in your way, if that's in your way. Given the chance, I'm always going to work together with somebody.
That's the key. That's the key. We did it the other way for so long here, and it's so much easier now.
I think
just get along.
I think, Wade, your age makes a big difference in you being in the military for so long, because I know a lot of the young kids that get into the business, and like me and Tony were young when we got into the hunt business, and so we had that, you know, fuck you type attitude, and everybody.
It was a competition at that point.
And as I got older, I realized that I'm in this thing to make a living and to make my employees a living and to make my customers happy where they come back all the time. And so fighting with other people doesn't do me any good. There's nothing good to come of that. So if we could get along, and it's an age thing, and I think that's what's good for you. I know a lot of the young guys, I have a lot of young guys call me, and it's a pissing match all the time with a lot of them young guys. You know, I had a guy tell me the other day, he said, I'm going to lease this fucking place here and kick that guy out of there and blah, blah, blah. I go, do you need it? No, fuck, then why the hell do you want to spend your money just to cause someone else some grief? Don't make sense.
You're only hurting yourself in the long run doing that type of shit. Because it's just going to blow up in your own face. I mean, my closest competitor here is almost a business partner. Like, we talk daily. We help each other scout. We turkey hunt together. Like, had I not already been planning on doing this on my own, we probably would have. Like, I probably would have ended up working for him.
Yeah. And that's the way it should be, because, you know, there's going to come a time where you're going to need a favor from somebody in this business.
Yeah.
You're gonna not have. You're gonna have two groups. You're only gonna have one field, or you're gonna need a field one day. So if you can build those relationships, and have some favors built up with some of your competitors, or however you want to, competitors or allies, whatever. But you're gonna need a favor one day, and if you can get in a good position where you're working with people, it makes things a lot easier, because even if you're taking somebody's third or fourth best field, if it's under birds and you got a shot, there's days that's a hell of a lot better than anything that you could have put the guys on. So,
Shit, yeah. If you didn't have birds and you can go out there and shoot 25 or 30, it's a win.
So in your area, do you get more ducks or more geese, or is it kind of a mixture of both?
It's a good mix of both. I mean, we have a lot of geese. I mean, I'm 8 miles out of Wichita, and both of y'all know how many geese the Wichita area itself holds. So I mean, we have a shitload of geese. I specifically try to target ducks for, just because that's what I grew up hunting. Um, that's what I hunted more when I first got to Kansas, mainly because it's cheaper. Um, and so I like duck hunting more, but we do goose hunt a lot. We kill a lot of geese. Um, but it's majority, and that's what most of my clients.
I think so. I think more. If you ask guys, hey, would you rather have a good goose hunt or a good duck hunt? I think 8 out of 10, maybe 9 out of 10 would say, hey, give me the ducks.
Yeah, and I see that with all the outfitters in Kansas. So we have, this year they changed their season up a little bit, so we've got about 4 weeks of goose only season where duck is closed, and it's always the last dates to fill up
for goose only. You're breaking up a little bit. Is it mallards mostly? So like, are you shooting mainly greenheads, or are you shooting like puddle ducks, pintails and widgeon and stuff? 80% mallards. Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, shooting. I mean, we'll mix in some green wings, we'll mix in some gadwalls, a few pintail, a few widgeons, stuff like that. But I mean, greenheads and Canada geese are our bread and butter.
Whew. Those are the dream hunts right there. You tell guys.
Yeah, that's what people want.
Yeah. Now, is it lessers or is it the big birds, Canadas?
Well, more lessers every year.
Really?
Yeah. So I started hunting here in 2012. It was almost all graders then, at least that I killed. And every year we've consistently got more and more lessers. And I would say like the lessers outnumbered the graders 5-1 throughout the majority of the season here now.
All the small geese from Cheyenne and Great Bend area have all moved east to y'all, haven't they?
Yeah, a lot of them have. They said it was back during the 2011, 12, 13
The
drought.
Yep.
They said, a lot of the western flyway area kind of dried up, didn't have the crops that they normally had. So a lot of them shifted over towards more eastern Kansas. And I mean, I don't know if it's just more lessers than there used to be, but we're definitely getting a hell of a lot more lessers in the area and I hate those guys. It's just absolutely.
Why?
Dude, they're a pain in the ass to hunt. I would hunt a field with 200 honkers on it before I hunted a field with 10,000 lessers.
What about you, Andy?
No,
take them 10,000 lessers.
Taking the lessers every day of the week.
In 2011, we lost a lot of our lessers. I don't think there's more lessers than there used to be. I think they move around a lot.
Yeah.
And historically, if you do a 100-year study on them, they used to be on the Texas coast. Then they used to be in Louisiana, a bunch of them. They used to be here. We used to winter over 1 million of them here. And the drought moved them around. A guy told me back in the mid-'90s when we were wintering 1 million birds a year here, he said it'll change one day. And it does. And the speckle bellies, their numbers, I think, have increased. Mm-hmm. But I don't know that the lesser's population has increased. They just go to different places. Them old boys in Great Bend woke up one day and they're like, where the fuck are all our geese at?
Because we had a guide from Great Bend, and like he was talking about more and more lessers showing up every single year, and then it was 1 year, all snow geese and specks.
Yeah, and I think the lessers are still there, or have been over the last couple of years, because those guys at Foul Plains are pretty good friends of mine, and I keep up with Cody and Chase all the time. And I mean, they do still kill lessers now. They are killing more and more snows and specks every year, but I think they still get a decent amount.
Yeah.
What's your limit up there? 5, 6, or 8?
6.
See, I think the limit ought to go to 4 geese per day.
Why?
I completely agree with you.
Because it's too much fucking work. It's stupid to kill 6 birds per man. Kill 4 birds. Your customer base is going to be there. We went through that. We went from 5 birds. We went from 3 birds to 5 birds, back to 3 birds, and now we're at, what are we at now? 4 or 5?
5.
I can't even remember. But anyways, we're at 5 dark geese, but only 2 can be specks. When we went to 3 birds, everybody's like, oh, God, you know, all that. All my competitors were just like, fuck, it's just going to kill business. It didn't change business at all. You shoot a limit of birds, everybody's happy. And after a year, nobody remembers that they could shoot 5 birds before. Like in Oklahoma, the limit is 8, and that is absolutely fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, can you imagine taking a group of 8 dudes out to kill, 64 geese?
Try 14 guys out and having to kill 112. We've done that before. And you kill 109 birds, and some asshole goes, well, we're 3 birds short. You know, fuck, you killed 100 birds.
Yeah, that's that. I mean, I don't. And again, we're lucky because most of my guys are shooting ducks. But yeah, when we do have those goose hunts, I mean, we kill 6 geese a piece. So you talk about 36 geese on a 6-person hunt. We do it, but it would break my heart.
No, I'd like to see 4 birds everywhere in the Central Flyway. I don't think it would change the bird numbers anywhere. I think it's just a lot easier on the birds because you see these guys mashing into these big groups, and we used to do it all the time too, and they rain out 30, 40 birds, and they shoot into a flock of 500 or 700 birds. There'd be a lot less of that going on if the limit was 4.
It'd be a lot more packing up decoys at 9 o'clock instead of having to drag out till 11, 12, 1 as well. So you'd be getting in there. I mean, and then you could go back in there and shoot those birds in a couple of days instead of having.
See, that's
maybe blow them all the way out.
We do that here now. When we get done a lot of times early, and we're out of our fields, and even back in our heyday in the 90s when we were wintering all the lessers here, and we would shoot. One year we had a full limit. Everybody had shot a limit at Christmas by 8 o'clock in the morning. Every group. I'd drop kids off at school, and I'd get to the fields to scout, and my guys were picking up decoys a lot of times and getting out of the field. Well, shit. By 8:30, 8:45, there's 5,000 to 10,000 birds in your field again. And those birds, they don't know nothing ever got shot out of that field. So we might hunt a day 15, 16 days in a row.
Yep.
Do you think, Jeff, that that we mismanaged our resource here back in the heyday?
In some degrees we did. In some degrees we didn't. I don't think we could have caught the drought. I
agree with that.
And that hurt us more than anything did.
I agree with that.
We got in and got out real fast a lot. I don't. The only difference is if we'd never hunted water out here, probably would have been a whole lot better off. But I don't think that the drought had more bearing on anything.
I agree with that. But
drought, peanuts, well water.
I mean, you talk about raining out a big group, and that's what we're fucking known for.
We did a lot of that, and looking back now, I wish we probably wouldn't have done that. But them same birds aren't affected. They're getting rained out now in Amarillo. Northern Oklahoma, they get rained out all the time. I mean, you can look at video and everything. And the people that have never been in them situations with those guides, they always judge those guys because I read it all the time. Yeah. Boy, that's stupid right there. That's blah, blah. Well, if you were that guy and you had a chance to do that, your clients, that's what they're paying for.
Right.
They're paying to shoot into a big flock of birds. They're paying to kill birds. Let's not sugarcoat this. When you're in the hunting business, your job is to put people on birds.
Dance, monkey, dance.
Yeah. Or we would be booked up in June and July when we don't have no birds, and we could all go lay in the field and hang out together. That's why they're not here. They're here to kill birds. So those guys are shooting those birds, and I would do the same thing probably all over again that we did before.
And that's the thing. Like, if you've got that massive wad centering up perfect, like, how do you tell a bunch of guys, like, sorry.
Yeah.
And then if it bites you in the ass and you don't shoot a limit, and they look back at that and they're like, we had this tornado finish and we had that one, and like there were times that I can remember during our heyday where it was only big flocks. We did not get a group of 8 to do it. Like, it was only massive flocks. So I don't know.
Tim Grounds told me in the mid-'90s, probably about 98 or 99, not mid-'90s, late 90s, he told me, he said, Jeff, he goes, y'all'd be better off if y'all only shot into small groups of geese. He goes, that would be the perfect storm. But he goes, Y'all don't have just small groups of geese.
Right.
The little geese are going to do it at 100 or 200 or 300 at a time. He goes,
And I hate them.
yeah,
That's why you hate them?
yeah, but that's what
I
they
mean,
do.
You got 600 eyes looking at you at one time. And they're like a stool of fucking fish, man. One of those geese changes its dumbass mind about something, and the whole school of fish follows it for no good reason.
Yeah.
Well,
That's true, too.
No,
But I think I don't have a ton of experience hunting big geese, so I'm not the end-all, be-all on this, but I do have a little bit. But I think little geese are dumber than big geese, in my experience. You might have a different experience, and you can tell me if you disagree with me.
I think big geese do things that make sense, and little geese don't even have a fucking clue what they're doing themselves, much less us figure it out.
Right. They're just little geese are just kind of following each other, and when one pulls a ripcord, they all pull the ripcord.
Big geese are like the country club fucker that lives in your town. He's too good to hang out with you, so he goes over and sits at the same place and sits 100 yards from you and looks down on you with his little fucking his little private family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but he does it the same spot every day, and I like that.
he does do that. Our problem is we don't have a lot of graders here. When we have shot big birds, me and Andy were in Canada, and they were all big birds. And you'd see a field with 200 or 300 birds, and that's a hunt. And it was just a whole different experience, but it's still waterfowl hunting.
And the perfect storm happened with big birds. Like you would get this 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 flock, bird flock, and they would come in, and you could be done before the mass even knew that you were there. But I don't know. I think about that quite a bit, but I don't think our area would be any different today just because of the drought changed so much. But I do wonder about that because I don't know. I'm getting old and sentimental, I guess. I don't know. It happens to the best of us.
I think we're a little egotistical as hunters. I don't think we have as much impact on that stuff.
You're breaking up a little bit. We're a little egotistical. How?
I don't think we have as much impact as hunters as we like to think we do.
I agree with that. Yeah.
When you think about, just take last year, for example, we talked about hunting pressure in Canada. How's that going to affect the migration? This, that, and the other. It didn't do shit. It's all weather dependent.
That is true. That is 100% true because I can remember sitting on this podcast right here thinking they're not hunting in Canada. We're going to have the best season we've ever had. And it actually turned out that we needed the pressure in Canada. Lee Cho said it, and he said it, and I was like, I hope he's not fucking right. And it turned out, because he said, this was last year before hunting ever. He said, listen, without pressure up in Canada, it might not be as good as you're thinking. And I'm like, I hadn't thought about that, and I hope he's wrong. It turned out
he's been hunting a long time. My money's on Lee.
My money's on Lee.
And we still don't know what's going to happen in Canada yet.
Right.
We don't know. I mean, we saw a deal the other day where you got to quarantine for 3 days and pay $2,000 to sit in a Canadian fucking hotel, even to go across the border. Well, how many guys want to do that?
That might be an old article.
20% of the ones that actually did it in 2019 is my guess.
Yeah.
I mean, $2,000, like to 70-80% of the hunters out there, $2,000 is money.
Shit, yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's exactly
Especially for the guy who's doing it yourself up there, because he's not all of them, because that would be a fun trip. Because we talked about just the guys from here going up there for 5 or 6 days. It'd be a fun trip. But a lot of guys do that. They don't want to pay an outfitter because they can save money and they're on a budget. Well, that $3,000 and $2,000 that takes your budget out.
That just went out the window.
Yeah, and them extra 3 days off work. So there's the guy who has a lot of money ain't gonna fucking be an issue at all for him. He's gonna be more bored over his 3 days sitting around doing nothing than he is worried about the $2,000.
I had a guy from Canada message me about that because I posted the clip, $3 days, $2,000, and one guy said that might be an old article, maybe from January, but I had another guy message me and he said he's read and heard that it is only going to be non-essential people are still not going to cross the border this year. So
it's all.
I don't know. The 5th, I think we're supposed to have more news about it. We'll find out then. Have you? Are you planning to go to Canada ever? Are you going to try to get up there?
Maybe one day. I've never been. I mean, I'd rather just go up North Dakota and not have to go crossing the border.
Yeah. I know the people in North Dakota are praying to God that the Canadian border opens.
Well, especially with it being dry like it is right now. And now North Dakota's going to that digital trespassing deal. That's going to change that game a lot. Older couple don't want to get out and fuck with having to put purple fence posts and shit, put no trespassing signs, can just turn their land into their county agent and it automatically gets posted where you can't hunt it. And I think that's going to shut down a lot of land up there. I really do, but I
hadn't thought about it that way.
We've been to North Dakota a couple times. It's great. I loved it. We went 7-8 years ago, and it reminded me of what it would have been like in 1960s anywhere in the United States. Not that those people were that far behind, but it was just that, everybody was friendly and nice, and they weren't trying to think you were trying to screw them over, and people were polite. It was a really neat experience, and I'm betting you now with all them yahoos, it probably looked like Miami Beach there this past fall.
I'd like to see the numbers from North Dakota Game and Fish on how many, state waterfowl stands they sold last year.
Oh, it was a bunch.
I wonder if I could pull that up real quick. Now, I can tell you, have you been to North Dakota, South Dakota, any of that before?
South Dakota, yeah.
The further fucking north you get, the slower people move. I have noticed that. We spent a week in Michigan. And we're on the Canadian border. Ain't nobody in a fucking hurry up there.
Everybody was on vacation.
The waitress isn't. She needs to bring my fucking sweet tea. You can't get sweet tea up there. I apologize. No.
What were you doing ordering sweet tea in Michigan?
Exactly.
Well, hold on. We ate in
one place
Mackinac
had sweet
City.
tea.
They had great. It was a great.
One place out of how many did we go to?
The food was good everywhere we went, except for on Mackinac Island.
My point is, the further north that you go, the slower the service is.
Well, I'm not disagreeing with you on that. What drives me nuts about Canadians is not making up their mind on something. They can't give you a straight answer. Like if you go talk to a farmer about hunting a field, you go and you ask a farmer in America, especially in Texas or Oklahoma, and you say, hey, could we hunt here tomorrow? It's either hell no or yes. There's not a lot of in between. In Canada, you talk for 30 minutes about, my cousin Bob used to hunt over here in 1974, and this happened here, and this happened here. Well, can we hunt? Well, probably's not a problem. And then after 30 minutes, you get, you ought to be all right. Fuck, just tell me yes or no. And that's what I noticed. But Wade, if I go back to Canada in a couple of years, it gets normal. I'd love to have you come with us.
Man, y'all pick me up on the way. I'll be happy to go with you.
It would be a fun trip.
So, year 2. Is there anything that you're planning on doing different from year 1? Did you think something will work and you're scrapping it, or what's the plans moving forward for Skeen Outdoors?
The thing is, I guess I could say this. Our website will be launching either tomorrow or the next day. So SkeenOutfitters.com, shameless plug in there.
Get it.
And along with that, we're opening a second set of dates for non-lodging hunts. So for guys that want to come up and hunt Kansas on a budget, where they can split an Airbnb and hunt a little bit cheaper, less frills, but still get in on the greenheads. We're going to have that there running concurrently with our lodging hunts. So that's the biggest thing. We just kind of doubled up on that.
Did you like having the lodge? Did you feel like it made you closer with the clients, having them there in-house?
Yeah. I mean, it's awesome because, and I'm sure you guys have seen this over the years, but I mean, every client we have is either a friend or a friend of a friend. Mm-hmm. At least starting out, Yeah. So, it was like getting up with buddies or getting to hang out with your buddies every 3 days, a new set of buddies. So, yeah, I enjoyed the lodge.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy going home away from the lodge at night?
Yeah. I mean, I only live 20 minutes away from the lodge. And then, like, a lot of nights, my wife and kids would come down to the lodge, too. My son, especially, would go down there with me a lot of evenings. And, we'd hang out and have dinner with clients. I mean, there's a lot of clients that straight up tell me that my son has to come on hunts with them. So
we do. My family's here. My family's here every night. My grandkids are here every night. My family, we have dinner here, and it's been that way since day one. We have a family table that we sit at that's gotten bigger and bigger over the years, I've noticed. But we have our deal, and it's funny because we have a life there that's completely separate than our customers. We go out and the guides meet with the customers and have dinner with them, and then we all kind of mosey back to the family deal. And we have our own family life that's the guides and my family and everybody included, and we have it every night. But I sure enjoy when I lock the door at night, it's dark in the dining room and my office, and I go home to my house. I enjoy that part. I love being around my clients, but I enjoy getting away. And I've always felt sorry for the guys that have to, because in Canada, me and Andy did that. We had to live with the guides where they were in the same house, same meals, and you never got away from them. And most guys, it's not a problem at all, but sometimes it's nice to be able to go home and be away.
Heck yeah. I mean, that would have been a deal breaker for me, honestly. Like not that I have one iota of an issue staying with the clients, but man, after deploying all those times and spending all that time away from my family and stuff, hell no, I'm going home.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
And it's so good to have your own corner to go to, like, okay, I'll kind of unveil a little bit being an outfitter, but you don't want to show your whole hand to your clients. Like, you want to kind of you want to play some things closer to the vest, and you don't want your
customers to scout with you either.
Yeah, you don't want your customers to scout with you, but you want to have that relationship with them. Like this, we're friendly, we're friends, but this is also a professional relationship, and I've got a job to do. And you want when things get tough and you get into the dog days of hunting season, it's good to be able to go to your own corner, your own house, or wherever, take a fucking hot shower and go to bed and turn on Netflix and just forget about it for just a little bit. So guys that have to stay with their clients, I think it makes it a lot harder on them.
And my guide, Alex, stays at the lodge.
Yeah.
So we do have somebody there.
But he's got his own quarters, I'm sure. He's not sleeping, he can.
Well, last year he didn't. This year he will.
So he was with a client?
No, I mean, he was in the same room. But, yeah, he was in the same room with him. So, yeah, he was right there with him. So that's changing up this year.
But he'll enjoy that a lot more.
Yes.
Oh, hell yeah. But, yeah, he's a special person. He's pretty patient. So he enjoys it.
Yeah, there are guys that we had Bo out here that worked for us. He would spend until he laid his head on the pillow. He was with clients. Like he was a special breed of guy. That's what he enjoyed doing, and more power to him. He racked up the fucking tips. I can tell you that.
Yeah, he was a tip machine,
and clients loved him. Like he was the pheasant guide. And there were guys that were like, hey, I'm coming back in January to goose hunt. Bring Bo on the goose hunt with us. Like, he's a fucking pheasant guide. What sorcery does he have over you? But he was that special breed of kid that could, hang with the guys, and he didn't mind it. Me, I need my alone time, and that's just me.
I just need to see my wife and kids. That's my own thing.
Yeah, and that's another thing, too. Like, we both got wife, we've got kids, so... hunting season is a lot harder on them, and I talked to Jesse. We do a podcast at the end of hunting season, and it's fun to kind of hear like what she's had to go through while I was doing what I wanted to do and, living the dream that I wanted to live. But it's hard on them, and being able to give them a little bit of time at the end of the day it's important. It's important to have a nice house.
And you at least get to have dinner with them every night. They're here every night.
Yeah.
And they scout with us sometimes.
So keep things family-oriented, you'll go a long way. I think guys enjoy seeing that. My
wife is the one that handles most of our administrative stuff. I mean, she's taking care of the calendar. She's paying the bills and helps book hunts and all that kind of stuff. So she's, it's her last name on the business too. So she's just as bought into it as I am. So, she has that same drive to do it and do it well that I do when it comes to hunting season. So I think that probably helps endure some of those stretches in there where it gets a little silly.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you being on here, Wade. Do you have any dates open for people that want to book?
Yeah, we have a couple of lodging dates left open. 2, 3, something like that. We're almost booked up on that, and then we're about to open up the non-logic date. So if anybody needs to get in touch with me, Facebook, Instagram, or the website here in the next couple of days. Check.
And you said your website will open. It's going to be SkeenOutfitters.com. Is that what it is?
Yep.
Perfect. And Facebook's the easiest way to get a hold of you, right?
Yep. Skeen Gun Dogs and Outfitters on Facebook. Skeen Outfitters on Instagram.
Good deal. Well, I'm glad that your first season went well. We wish you the best moving forward. And if there's anything that you ever need, don't be afraid to reach out and go out there. Enjoy the rest of your summer. And better days are on the horizon, my friend. So good luck to you moving forward, bud.
Thanks, Andy, Jeff. I appreciate all the good words and advice you've given the past year and a half.
Well, we appreciate you listening, bud. If you need anything, you holler at me.
Thanks, Jeff.
Yep.
Y'all have a good one.
See you, bud.
Day. Bye.
Damn it, I didn't beat it.
We didn't beat what?
You heard that little whoop.
Oh, you tried to beat it before.
I tried to beat it. I fucked up the intro. I was late on that.
What do you think about the new $1,100 waiters they got out?
We're going to talk to the guy.
Oh, we are? Good deal. When's he going to be on with us?
I'm setting that up.
Okay, good. Well, good deal.
The Chain A or whatever?
Yeah, that's what I was looking at. All right. Well, good for you then. All right. Well, I appreciate everybody listening to you. Can't get the backstory on this deal with Andy because he's got a big shit-eating grin on his face.
There's not a big shit-eating grin on my face. You were getting ready to be a little ugly.
No, I wasn't. I was going to ask you about him.
Yeah, the guy's going to be on with us.
All right. Thank y'all. God bless y'all and have a great day.
Check out all of our great sponsors. Check out Eyesight Drone Service. They're also going to be on with us in the future. Check out the Looking Glass Duck Club podcast. Lucky Duck. What the fuck am I doing, Jeff? What a bad day. Dirty Duck Coffee, Stanfield Hunting Outfitters, Bangtail Whiskey, Goose Creek Retrievers, Boss Shot Shells, Dive Bomb Ministries, Pacific Calls, Gun Dog Outdoors.